Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is September 15th, 2017, and yeah, it's been a few weeks again since we've done one of these. I've kept the channel sort of rolling in the meantime with arrivals. We did our September compilation video. We've done our All Japan Model and Hobby Show preview show, so at least we didn't leave you without content for the last 3 weeks. Finally getting adjusted to the schedule of having the kids back in school, and for anybody who's watched this channel last school year knows that obviously work night shift, which is a known factor outside of the school year, and my son, my youngest, is still in preschool, and it is a half-day preschool, and that requires me basically having to drive him to work, drive him to work, and then run back here with my middle kid and get her on the bus for her now first grade. So like I said, finally I've sort of adapted to the lifestyle here. It's not too bad when my wife is off during the weekdays because we can sort of split who takes who where, or if I'm really bad, like on Mondays when I work a 12 Sunday into Monday and I just crash out and she's actually here, you know, she can help out by just doing everything. But like I said, we're getting back to normal, so hopefully all will work out well. Lots of kid announcements that are outside of the All Japan Hobby and Toy Show that we need to go over. And then, of course, we have a few teasers things as far as upcoming products go. And also the kit releases for basically the end of August and the very beginning of September. It's not a whole lot, but it's a good chunk. So without making this an hour-long video, let's go. For October, Hasegawa has announced that they will be reissuing, and if I've mentioned these in another video, I apologize, but I can't find them in any of the August videos, so I assume that this stuff came in after the last video we did. If it's in a previous video, well, I'm repeating myself, but if not, then here we go. They're going to be doing the 1993 Subaru Legacy RS. This is going to be the New Zealand Rally. This will be the first place finishing vehicle for Colin McRae. I believe this will be his first victory of his career, represented by this, the livery in this kit. They're going to reissue the Jaguar XJ9, and that is going to be the IMSA version. There's a Le Mans version and an IMSA version. This is going to be the IMSA version. The Le Mans version got reissued, about 18 months ago or so. They're going to be reissuing another Porsche 962C, this time with the Nisiki Trust livery. You may recall they just did a version of that probably 4 or 5 months ago for the Japanese sports car prototype series. This is going to be for the 1991 24 Hours of Le Mans. And they're going to be reissuing their Porsche 968 Club Sport. The Porsche 968 kit and the Porsche 944 kit, which are basically the same kit, obviously different body, but you know, one was a continuation of the other chassis platform. They got reissued a little while ago. I don't want to say it was even within the last year, maybe longer than that, maybe a year and a half. This Porsche 968 Club Sport, I don't believe it was ever reissued since it was done originally. It has a different set of wheels and a different set of seats and sort of a blank back seat. It was sort of a street version of a race car kind of deal. The Hasegawa kit isn't 100% complete in terms of being true to the car, but it's a reasonable representation for, you know, a shelf model. Playmos has announced, on the other hand, that they will be doing a better set of wheels, as well as a photo etch set and new seats that better represent the actual Club Sport seats. No release date on that detail upset, but they have announced it on their Facebook page. Also, one other thing, Tamiya for October has announced they are going to be reissuing their Subaru, what is it, the Alcione or something along those lines. I had the pronunciation when this was announced, and then I lost it here. But this will be the Japanese spec version of the XT. There is no U.S. spec in this. I assume they're reissuing the version that if it is the complete model kit, still curbside, but there's also like one of those motorized 124 scale kits that was done at one point in the past as well. The 956 Porsche, the Tamiya does suffers from that same lineage. I think their kit, at least from what I've seen, it seems to be a little more complete in terms of what it is as far as the completeness of it actually being a real chassis and a real kit. Anybody who has a Tamiya 956, or no, excuse me, not 956, a Tamiya 962C knows that kit is very much a body shell with a very basic interior and a very basic chassis because it is originally a motorized kit from back in the day. In November, Fujimi will be reissuing their Nissan R34 GTR in the, let me see here, right, this is the Saitama Prefecture police vehicle. That is an existing reissue of a kit. I believe they've done that in the past. They're going to reissue their Toyota Estima minivan in what is being called the GX Arena G. So all of these various little trim levels were in the past separate kits. This is going to be combining all three of those trim levels into one kit. The trim levels basically be a couple different sets of wheels and some decals, really what differentiate the two, or actually the three, from each other. They're going to reissue their 1971 GTR with a nameplate. Remember, it's the 60th anniversary of the Skyline this year. So Fujimi is finding a way to milk that as well. And then the sort of bigger announcement, not unexpected, and I think we touched upon this in another video that's outside of the stash report, just one of the inside the stash type things, is they are going to be reissuing that brand new tool Porsche 911 RSR 2.1 Turbo they just did for the Circuit Wolf series. And they're going to be doing this as the 1974 Le Mans car. So for anybody who's waiting on a liveried version and wants to wait for the kit version, that'll be coming out in November. And then also for November, the Hasegawa has announced that they will be reissuing their Toyota Celica 1600 GT steel wheel. This is the one that was just done, last year and a half ago, where it's a straight reissue of their 1600 GT kit with a new, what they call steel wheel, but it's the new factory stock wheel. It doesn't have the Watanabes that their normal kit has. And then they're going to be reissuing their Lancia Delta Integral 16 valve in the 1989 San Remo Rally version. And then in December, they're going to be reissuing their Fairlady Z in the 1971 Safari Rally version. So they have, of course, just reissued the Safari Rally and the Nissan Bluebird. The Nissan Bluebird is on the reissued list that I've seen from Hasegawa, but it does not have a month of reissue as of yet. So those two Safari Rally cars are going to be coming back as well. So let's talk about some things that shall be upcoming. We got this shot from BMAX this week, and this is basically the build-up and decal test fit for the new Volvo 240T Group A car. The liveries that you are seeing here on the top are the 1985 Eggenberger Motorsports Kamachi-sponsored Gia Race of Macau winner. And then the lower one, the very basic 21, there's a lot more on the side of this car that you can't see but from this overhead. But the bottom one, the number 21, is the Eggenberger Motorsports. So again, you see we're going with a one-team concept here. But this would be their car from the 1985 Japanese Intertech Endurance Series, specifically the 1985 Fuji race, which it won. So these are a couple of winning, how should we say, a couple of winning cars, I guess, winning liveries. I'm not sure which one gets painted red, which one gets painted white as far as the floor pan goes. I'm going to assume the Kamachi one because it's red bumpered all the way around and has a lot more red trim to it, but I don't know for sure because I haven't seen the instructions to this kit yet, but it gives you a basic general idea of what you should be expecting. Hopefully they're going to do both liveries in the kit itself, and these are not like separate kits. In the the Kamachi one, the Gia Race of Macau is what the car is supposed to come out as, period. The Intertech decals, I don't know if those are some auto-color decals that are going to be done in the future, because remember, auto-color is owned by BMAX, or if they're going to do a 2-in-1. Hopefully it'll be a 4-in-1, because both of these cars are team cars, meaning that there's a 1 and a 2 Kamachi car, and there's a 21 and a 22 the Japanese Intertech series car. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly we end up getting decal-wise. Probably get a really good idea of that coming up here at the end of the month with the hobby show, because probably the reason that these are getting built up, other than proof of concept and making sure, again, the decals fit correctly, is to have them for display at the show. Another couple decal sets, and these are the first half decals for Studio 27. They're doing a carbon fiber decal set for the Toyota GT1 TS020. This is a 1999, I believe, or is it 1989? I can't think what year the car is. All of a sudden, it just went out of my mind. But it's the Le Mans car that Toyota raced back in the day, and I got to look this up. They're also going to be doing their reissuing their photo etch set for this kit as well. So 1999. I was right the first time. Okay. Whew. Thought my mind left my body there for a second. But yeah, there's also a detail upset for that kit as well, and they're going to be reissuing that. And then the livery set for the first half of September is this, which is the livery for the 1974 Le Mans Porsche 911 or Porsche Carrera 2.1 Turbo. So this was kind of interesting to see, mainly because I figured that there wouldn't be a lot of aftermarket support for this kit, being that there's only the two cars. These two cars, I remember we talked about this when the kit came out, and the question of whether or not there would be aftermarket support was the fact that there were only 3 of these ever built. One was a 1973 carryover car that was a test car that didn't actually ever enter any races, and then there are the 2 cars, because you can build this as a 21 or a 22 car number. These 2 cars exist. So yeah, the 21 is the car that the Fujimi kit is going to represent. It is the one that's in private collection in England and is still in that racing configuration. The Porsche that got measured that's at the Porsche Museum is that the 1974 24 Hours of Spa car, which has different numbers and a mildly different livery in the sense of like the roundels and associate sponsorships and stuff like that. And it's stuck that way. So it'll be interesting to see if Studio 27 does the 24 Hours of Spa cars, because both cars should have run all the races that year. Only the Le Mans car is better known because of where it finished, and then the other car is better known because of where it finished in 24 Hours of Spa. So, not a complete shock cover, because obviously those decals will be out here probably in the next week or so, and that if you wanted to go a liveried version of that kit and not build the Circuit Wolf car, or just build it sort of as a one-off Porsche that could be any color you wanted it to be, because it really doesn't represent anything at that point. It's just sort of a fantasy car. These decals will be out for basically 2 months before the Fujimi kit comes out there. So people who want to build the kit and want probably what will be superior aftermarket decals, considering we'll buy these decals, and then that's really probably going to cut into the people that are actually buying the Fujimi kit if you already have a Circuit Wolf car and you just wanted the decals. So, at any rate, that's going to be coming out as well. And then one other thing that we saw on Spot Model is that Decal-Cos, or Decal-Cos, I'm assuming it's Decal-Cos because that's how European Canadian people pronounce decal, announced that they're going to be doing this sheet, which is the 2016 24 Hours of Nürburgring winning car, the Black Falcon Racing Team, obviously for the upcoming AMG GT3 kit that Tamiya will be doing. Also, we noticed the Spot Model this week. The Hobby Nunu M6 is finally available for pre-order. So if European suppliers are finally getting the nod that they're going to get it, and they're saying the end of November, maybe we're really going to get the kit here sooner than later. So we shall see. For anybody who's looking for those Bell kits, Volkswagen Polos, and you wanted to order them through Japan, I have not seen the actual listings for them come live yet, but Aoshima announced on their Facebook page that they will be carrying those kits in December. I'm not exactly sure why there's been this, what amounts to, 4-month lead in getting the kits out. They actually usually were available in Japan at the same time the other the kits were released. In the example of the older Volkswagen Polo or the Ford Escort kits, but whatever reason, if you wanted to get them through Japan because you want to overpay for them and wait for them in the process, because like I said, M&S Hobbies is the best place to get them. It's here in the United States. That option will come available sooner than later. Again, as a November reissues or December release. So there's that. So I think that about covers your sort of hints and tips. I'm going to throw this up here because I said I was going to throw it up in the last video. The last Inside the Stash video, I talked about a set of Eggenberger Motorsports. That team I've never heard of before, and all of a sudden it's like the most popular thing in the world. BMW 635 CSI decals that I got. This is the car. I said I was going to put it in that video, and then I completely forgot about it when I did the editing. So this is what that car looks like when it's done. So there's that. So let's talk about kit releases. We have a number of domestic releases here. The Revell things will be the end of August kits, and the round 2 kits will be the September kits. They're already out. So, and the end of August, the August kits from Revell were the Max D Monster Jam Snap Tight kit. This is the one with the Monster Jam sounds of racing, or whatever they're calling it. You know what? It looks like a mess as far as what the box art shows here, but you know what? It is a very good representation of the actual truck. Probably the chassis itself and things like that leave a lot to be desired in accuracy because of it being a snap-tight kit and really a snap-tight build-and-play type of deal. It's not really a build-and-play per se, as it's not like 6 pieces, but it is obviously with Monster Jam truck sounds a toy more than a model kit. But the actual body of the truck really does look like what the box art does. It's a pretty ugly truck all the way around, but it is an accurately ugly truck. So I'll give Revell the benefit of making the accurately ugly thing. The other 2 Revell kits for this month that are maybe a little more to the speed of the adult modeler would be the reissue of the 1992 Mazda Miata MX-5. Kind of an interesting box art here, showing a little rallycross, little parking lot rallycross action here. I'm not sure the roundel number is actually in the decals. The black stripes are. This shows basically the front and rear fascia racer, cafe racer thing. There's very little actual to racing parts to this kit. Basically, it's the bumpers and that's pretty much it. The wheel sets are the same both for the factory stock version and this version. So anyway, it's a reissue of that kit. It is 1/24th. They say 1/25th scale. I believe this was 1/24 scale back in the day. I believe that they are scale fibbing here. But it is just a straight reissue of that kit. That kit was never reissued, so this is the first reissue of the kit since 1992 when it was done originally. The kit did have like a Revell Ashella European reissue that seems to be fairly easy to find. I don't know why exactly. I guess nobody in Europe ever built their model kits. They sort of came back on market once this reissue was announced. People were trying to obviously get rid of their kits while they still could. But this is molded in white, by the way, because that's been a question online. The original one was molded in red. This is molded in white. And then the last Revell kit for the month of September is the reissue of the Ford Torino, this time being packaged as a 76 Grand Torino, be the last of this body style generation Torino. Basically, the differences here in terms of what's this kit and the original Starsky and Hutch kit is factory wheel covers, more of what we consider factory stock tires, because remember the Flying Tomato has big and little mag wheels. And then there's a factory stock air cleaner added to the engine, as the Starsky and Hutch car had a open element, sort of sporty, performance style air cleaner. So this has the factory stock induction system, and that's pretty much it. They're just, getting a little more mileage out of the tool, and can't blame them for that. There'll be a lot of people who will purchase this just because it's not molded in red, and it's not, it doesn't have those custom wheels and things like that. Over at Round 2, they did 2 kits for the month of September. They're both out now. Be interested to see if any of the September stuff, or I should say the October stuff, gets bumped up or not. But as it stands right now, the 59 El Camino has been reissued. Again, this is just a reissue of the existing 59 El Camino. There's nothing new, nothing restored. There are new decals in it, obviously. And the big shtick here is the OAS, an original art series boxing. So giant box with the suitable for framing print and whatnot. The other reissue is the 1983 Camaro Z28. As we talked about in the September compilation video, this is I don't want to say significant like it means anything, but it's significant with air quotes reissue because this kit has been reissued since the 1980s. But the Camaro that most people think of when they think of an AMT Camaro is actually the old MPC tooling that had T-tops. The 83 Camaro, for whatever reason, stopped in 1983, and they just used the MPC tooling from there on out, all through after the two companies merged and into the early 1990s when this body style of Camaro stopped, and the last, what was the last gen Camaro before the new one started up, is that this one has a stock roof, has a steel roof, no T-tops, no T-top indentions, the way a lot of kits are where you cut the T-tops out. This is a actual steel roof. I don't know that you can necessarily combine it with later kits, but it would be probably the best base in terms of it having a steel roof for doing like a BC4 RS Camaro, the police Camaro, rather than trying to fill the roof back in on a later AMT or MPC kit. So those two, like I said, are out, and the Revell stuff should probably be out next week for the month of September. So we anxiously await those releases. Everything else, guys, is going to be overseas. So let's real quick, we'll talk about these. We already showed them to you in the last video. These are the orange wheel tires. These are stretch wall tires. They have a little bit of a camber built into them already, sort of the way the Aoshima Rocket Bunny wheels are, or the Rocket Bunny tires, I guess you should say. These are designed specifically to fit the orange wheel sets, of which there are, what, 6 or 7 of now. Well, I guess it's 6, technically 12, because all of them come in chrome or just white plastic. These tires, again, designed to fit those wheels. They would probably fit anything up to a 17-inch wheel without looking too ridiculous. You start pushing them onto 18-inch, 19-inch wheels, you're probably going to break the tire. Because if you haven't seen these, go back, watch the last Inside the Stash video, but it was a very short video, and mostly we talked about these tires. They're pretty small in order to make them stretch wall over the little 15-inch, 16-inch rim tires that Asuka Orange Wheels makes in the first place. Going from there to, let's see, we have Aoshima, we have Hasegawa. I don't think there's any Fujimi this month. So from Aoshima, let's do this real quick because there's the least of it. There's this. This is the Mark II and the, let's see, what else? The other thing here, it's the Chaser. MX41 chassis series kit. This is the one that came out a few months ago, sold out. This is a stock reissue, basically restocking, and that is the kit that includes the 2 different bodies, because there's enough differences between the Mark II and the Chaser to, have them be completely different bodies. The interiors and the chassis, however, there's only one of, so you can only build one kit. You have to pick which body you want to use. The other one, of course, scrap body for painting and things like that. There was one other reissue in August, or 2 reissues in August, I guess just to say, in the model car lineup, and they are the 1980 Subaru Sambar high roof 4-wheel drive. This is a reissue that pretty much has all of the pieces that were ever created for this kit. This is a Best Car Vintage kit. It's an old motorized kit, so don't expect a lot here in terms of chassis or interior detail. It's not the new Tool Subaru Sambar they did in 2012, but it does come this time with the roof rack and the raft and the kayak and the harpoon gun. We are doing some seriously wicked wildlife hunting with this van all of a sudden. But yeah, so there's that back. The next reissue is reissue of their Skyline 2000 GT-ES kit. This is another one of the kits here recently that has been retooled with a new front and rear fascia, as well as the new factory stock aluminum wheels and the newly tooled 14-inch tires that are coming with this set. Continuation of all of the reissues of these Skylines they've been doing since the late spring for the 60th anniversary of the Skyline. There was, one tuned model car released for the month of August, since, the other one came out before the last video. Actually, no, there's two. There was three altogether, but there's two here. One is the reissue of the GRS 182 K-Brake Hyper Custom Version 0 Toyota Crown Athlete. This kit was done probably, a year and a half ago or so. And this is just basically repackaging that kit into the tuned model car lineup. And then the other reissue is the Subaru Impreza WRX STI INGS tuner version. This kit was done back in 2012, I want to say, right after they updated the 2007 Impreza into the 2010 Impreza. It can only be built as the blue car. There's also a, June Garage, one that's yellow. They have, as of yet, not reissued that kit. And then there were three kits that came out this month that were pre-paints, and they are the 2015 Crown Royal Saloon, in white pearl crystal shine, the 2015 Toyota Crown Athlete in precious black pearl, and then the really unique one, I think, is the 2013 Toyota Crown Athlete in this Pepto-Bismol pink. This is a special edition car that they did. It is a real car that Toyota built in that color, and I think it's kind of neat to have that out there. Pre-paint model kits from Aoshima, guys. What are they? Painted all the way through, top to bottom. Everything is painted. However, of course, the mold lines are still there, so always take that into consideration. BMAX put out their next all-new toolkit, and that is of the 1/20th scale F1 car, the Brabham BT52 in the 1983 Monaco Grand Prix version. This would be a full detail kit. Does come with a complete BMW engine and everything else like that. And there is also a detail upset for it that has some carbon fiber, a couple sheets of carbon fiber actually, seatbelt material, photo etch, and then all of the little chrome things on that chrome tree are pipe connectors or plumbing connectors to do all of the plumbing and wiring for the engine. I don't believe this detail upset comes with any of that actual tubing or wiring, but if you wanted to do so, you have basically anodized fittings to do that with. I can't really tell you guys anything about the kit in terms of whether it's accurate to the real thing or not. Not an F1 fan, certainly not a 1983 F1 fan. But it has been getting generally positive reviews online from people who know what they're talking about. So I entrust that they are coherent in their reviews. Next thing we have would be all of the Hasegawa reissues that have come out. Wait, hang on. Before we go, we got to do some wheel sets from Aoshima. Aoshima's wheel sets for the month of September are out. These are more 14-inch wheel sets. The difference here with these are they are 5-lug wheels. So these will go on to some different cars in terms of some early Cedric Glorias, Celicas, things like that. They are the Star 5, the Mark 1, the Shadow 5, and the Heart 5. So basically these replicate some of the 14-inch 4-lugs wheels. Excuse me, guys. And they are, again, 5-lug versions. So for you people who want there really aren't the gumball tires with these. These are not the great big goofy tires that come with the 4-lug 14-inch wheels. But again, if you want a small 14-inch wheel for a project, something with big over fenders, these would be your things to get, as it were. So now we'll talk about Hasegawa. Hasegawa reissued their Subaru Legacy GT Touring Wagon. Be interesting to see how long it takes to get the GT sedan, because the GT sedan basically is the base to the rally car that has been reissued several times. This kit has not been, at least to my knowledge, reissued since it was done originally back in the early 1990s. It is a curbside. Unlike the later Imprezas that they did, which were their own generation that nobody else did the Imprezas for, and there's a sedan and a wagon version of those, these kits do come with left-hand drive. So if you want an early gen, like 93, I think is what these are supposed to represent, legacy wagon, in this case, again, we'll see how long it takes them to reissue the sedan in the factory stock format. But like I said, you want an early 90s legacy wagon, this does come with left-hand drive. The next reissue would be the Mitsubishi Galant VR4. This time it's set up for off-road gravel setup. This is for the 1992 Safari Rally. It's got some big old off-road lamps and a different set of wheels, I believe. Also a higher ground clearance in the suspension for the gravel rally. The next up here, the Suburban Mercedes C9 reissue. Curbside kit, very, very basic curbside kit. However, this one is a little different than the Tamiya kit in the sense that this is a 1 year later car and also the more successful. The Tamiya kit is of the previous season's car. It's painted dark blue with the ST AEG sponsorship. And that car did finish second in points and was, pretty dominant. The C9s that they did the next year, the silver ones, they basically finished 1-2. This set is set up for the introductory race of the 1989 season in Japan for the touring World Endurance season. And they finished first and second there, and they proceeded to win 7 of the 8 races that year, and finish first and second in the points. So complete domination by Suburban Mercedes for that endurance year. Also a reissue from Hasegawa, the Lancia Delta HF Integral Evolution. This is the civilian version of the rally kit, obviously. This is what you need for all of those decals that Studio 27 did, all the striping packages for the various Martini tied-in special editions and everything else. Next up after that, got the Porsche 944 Turbo Racing Kit. This is something that hasn't been out for a little while, probably, I believe 2002 was the last time this kit was reissued. This specifies one of the cars from the Porsche 944 Turbo Cup, which was a single-make race series. There are, as far as I know, no other decals for this car. I don't know how, I haven't looked it up to see the 944 Turbo Cup, how many competitors that single-make series had in, I guess this was 1986. I think this is technically a 1987 season car, but this is the only, there's only one decal livery in the kit, and I've never heard of any other decals being made for it. Maybe we'll see some now that it's been reissued, but as of right now, you build what's in the box or you build nothing at all. Next up, you got a reissue of the Advan-sponsored AE 101 Corolla 11 JTCC car. This, much like the earlier reissue a few months ago of the I can't remember what the sponsorship was. That's sad because I just looked at it a couple days ago in terms of just looking at the contents and stuff like that. Yeah, what was that? I feel that I'm backwards in the list further than the reissue, which I must be. Why am I not seeing it? Am I back too far? Please hold while I talk to myself about what exactly is going on here. Yes, the Fujitsu Toms 10 reissue. So yeah, another version of this has basically the same wheels inside of it. There are 2 other liveries for this car that they did. I'm not sure if those have different wheels or not, so it'll be interesting to see whether or not they reissue those. There has been this weird little trend of Hasegawa's where they'll reissue these old sort of vintage, if you will, touring cars. They did the EG6 Civic 3-door. They did the Ferio, and they've done this Advan Corolla. The EG6 Civic, the 3-door, has another set that has Enki racing wheels. Those kits haven't been reissued. They've reissued the two because the Castrol kit is finally going to get put out here at the end of September. That was supposed to be like an August or actually a July reissue, and for whatever reason, it's been delayed for a couple of months. That has the same set of wheels as the Jax reissue did, so they haven't done the other wheels for the SDP or the Trompio version. And then, like I said, there's a Liberty Landmark, and there's something else. I can't remember what the other racing livery is for this Corolla 11, but they, again, different set of wheels in those kits, and they haven't reissued them. So I'm not sure what the game plan is there, whether or not it's necessarily, licensing of the liveries themselves, or, it's just a set of wheels. It's the only difference. I don't know. Continuing along with the Hasegawa reissues, you have the Charge liveried Mazda 767B. This kit, the way the decals are done, you paint it orange and everything green is in decals, and then you have to put the checkered lines on, or the dashed lines, if you will. So at least it's not a two-tone paint scheme the way the Tamiya kit is. Now, how well those green decals will actually fit, I don't know. But much like the Sauber, it is a very, very basic curbside, but it's available and not a big, problem to get the way the Tamiya kit is. And then we have three more Hasegawa reissues, so hang in there. We got the Toyota Celica Turbo 4-wheel drive. This done in the winning livery, Castrol, here for the 1993 Safari Rally. They've done the tarmac version. This is, of course, the gravel version, so different set of wheels here, as well as you have the large over-the-roof induction system, the off-road lighting, the great big roll push bar, well, not really a roll bar, but a great big wildlife remover push bar on the front. So that, again, reissue of an existing kit, but hasn't been around for quite a long time. Reissue of the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 4 in the 1997 Catalonia Rally winner. This particular kit happens to be the first win for Mitsubishi for the entire 1997 season, and I believe 1996 was a particularly crappy one for them, so this was a big deal for them winning this race, which is why Hasegawa chose it as a livery. And then last but not least is a reissue of the Taka Q Toyota 88C Group C car. This car, as it's configured here, is for the 1988 season of the Japanese Sports Car Prototype Championship season. They reissued earlier, probably, almost a year ago now, the 88C that was the Le Mans season car. This one, again, for the Japanese Prototype Sports Car Series. So with this kit coming out, I believe that Hasegawa has reissued every Group C car that ran in the Japanese Sports Car Prototype Championship Series. Be interested to see if any other liveries are done for the Toyota. I don't believe it had any other liveries. Similar to the R89C Nissan, it has a Nissan factory livery, and that was all it ever had. The Porsche was a little more freewheeling in what it allowed, as far as teams and privateering to be done with it. And guys, that is that. So you're all caught up. I don't think that was too terribly long. Again, I can see what the file size is, but that doesn't translate into time necessarily. But that is it. So this week coming, we should get the, like I said, we get the Revell stuff out. There is, of course, all of the Aoshima kits for this month are still pending, other than those wheel sets, because the wheel sets are the only thing for September that have come out so far. We did get box art for the Liberty Walk R35, so that kit is coming out in the month of September. I've seen box art pretty much for all of the kits, actually, for Aoshima, so those will all come out this month. And then there are 3 kits from Fujimi that are scheduled for this month, and that will pretty much be it, because at this point, there is one more Hasegawa kit, the reissue of the BMW 320i, and then, of course, the Castrol Civic that's a little overdue at this point, and that'll be it for the month, and we'll plow on into October towards Halloween and the end of the year. So, at any rate, guys, we hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys on the other side.